Hello, fellow Gen Xers. I want to ask you this question that I've been thinking about lately, and that is what success means to you at 50. And was it everything that you expected? Because when we were younger, we had an idea of what success we thought looked like. And then after 50, things change. And maybe the success that you thought that you wanted wasn't exactly what you expected. And I will explain to you why that happens after the age of 50 and why those things matter less and how we redefine success in our life. Hi, I'm Raz. I'm the semi-retired samurai, and I talk about reinvention after 50, especially for the Gen X generation. So looking back at my life, one of the things that I thought I wanted badly was to be extremely wealthy. And I still want to be secure, I want to be successful, but I think when we were younger, we always think about the yachts, we think about the big mansions, and we define that as success. And now in my 50s, I don't feel that is important anymore, and I stopped chasing these material things. And I think when we're younger, we go through a phase of, you go to school, you go to university or college, and then you get a career, a high-paying one for a lot of those who were aspiring to more wealth. And then you get a certain amount of try to attain a certain amount of status in life, and then you start accumulating material things. You buy a condo, and then you buy a house, and then you buy a bigger house in a nicer subdivision. And those things at the times is what was important to us. Chasing these material things to, I guess, show that we have made it. And I know for me in my 20s, I got myself into debt, because I wanted to impress girls with, nice fancy dinners and a nice car and everything. And I learned my lesson fairly quickly that that was heading down the wrong road. And I think I always ask myself, will this make me happy? And I thought when I was younger that by accumulating these things, it would make me happy if I just made that extra X amount of dollars or have this X amount of dollars in my account, that I will be satisfied. And it got to a point where, I met one goal, and then I would chase the next goal after that. And it just seemed like I was constantly chasing things all the time. And I think you have to come to a point when you have a reality check and realize that, was the payoff, worth the effort? And it was kind of interesting because the other day I was talking to someone who I sort of knew, and he had a company, and I asked him a little bit about his company because he became the president and how he got into the business, because I love to ask how people ascend to the top. Anyways, he told me that his boss, who was owner of the company, had a birthday party. And when he was at the birthday party, he had the candles there all lit up, and then afterwards he went upstairs and cried. And this guy's worth like millions and millions of dollars, right? Has everything that you want in life. And his kids were all there as well. But the thing is that the kids didn't want to celebrate with him because they couldn't stand him, because he didn't spend any time with them and when they were growing up. And so he was always absent in their lives. And I guess when he realized this, that, he had this birthday cake, all this money, but nobody wanted to celebrate with him. So he's a very lonely person. And I thought that was quite sad. And I think this came to mind because I had this comment the other day from a commenter where he said that he didn't feel successful, but he did everything else in life. Good family, good person, good employee. And I said to him, well, you know what? Don't define success all shouldn't be defined all related to material wealth, and that just having a great family and raising great kids is very successful, right? Because a lot of people don't have that. So I want to remind him of that, because I think sometimes we have to, especially in North America, we value so much, and we, I guess, attach so much of a success to personal finance and wealth. And I think I started to question this in my 50s, because I had a successful business and everything in life was going great, great marriage, and I'm not complaining. I mean, I can't, I got to do what I want to do in life, especially for a living, and there's no complaints about it. But I started to feel like, okay, what's left? Because I definitely wasn't taking time to enjoy myself. I didn't, go on a lot of vacations, and I was just working all the time, trying to chase this goal and attain this goal. And I started to realize that time was flying by. I started to realize I was getting older, and I started to have limits on my time. My energy wasn't as high as it used to be, and I wanted more peace in my life, because everything for so many years, for so many decades of my life was hectic. Starting when I was a kid as well. Parents arguing over money, and then when I got older, I struggled with finances to get my career going. I got my career going, and then I was still running around like a madman. So I started to think about, okay, well, what is the meaning of all this? Do I really need more? Do I need a bigger house? Do I need a nicer car? All these things, because my basic needs were met. And I started to realign my life and start to think about, okay, what do I value the most? And I value peace of mind. I want peace. I also value experiences, right? And do I really care about the car and all that? No, I don't care too much about it. And what about a bigger house and so forth? To tell you the truth, I could live in a 600 square foot condo, and I'll be happy as long as I got everything I need. I don't have to stress about money. Then that's okay, right? So I want to replace all my, have more time. I wanted more freedom in my life, and I wanted more meaning in my life, to experience new things, to do the things that I said I was going to do. And I also want simplicity in my life. I don't like a lot of clutter around, so I started to give things away. I told people not to give me anything for birthdays and Christmas, because I never open them, because I don't need anything really, And so it was a time in my 50s to reinvent myself, rebuild my life, and I need to remove what doesn't matter in my life anymore. So toxic people, all those things, and to tell you the truth, it's made my life so much more simple, so much more pleasurable, and I'm really enjoying what the next chapter brings. So I want to hear from you. What do you guys feel that you don't need more to feel better, and what do you need less of in your life, and what's something you thought that you needed but don't need anymore? I'm curious to hear from all of you. Feel free to comment below, and if you like my videos, please feel free to like, subscribe, or share, and check out the next video. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Bye for now. Oh, yeah, and I also want to check out, you guys to check out this wonderful view that I have. I'm back home now. Just got back from Hawaii, but it's paradise here as well. Okay, take care. I'll see you guys.